Recording in progress.
Good morning to everyone who are joining from the States, and also to the rest. Very good afternoon and good evening. Hi, I think we will wait for 1 more minute before we start. All right, great. Okay, so yep, this is the first time finally we are able to run this event, and I hope it will be effective for us to communicate with you guys, and especially we have a lot of exciting things is going to happen in the coming months. All right, so I hope this event will be a effective communication channel for us to share that, and and we hope to be able to share with you guys what we will be expecting, and as far as the business growth is concerned. All right, I hope you can see my screen. Yeah. And okay, let's begin with the session. Okay. So, all right. So this is the management team of the Icnm. I think we have been sharing quite a bit. All right. And so for myself, let me just hang on. So for myself, I'm been in the IT fields for more than 30 years. And I took over the role of chairman and CEO position since January this year. And I'm also a director of VIAGOO, and some of you are probably aware. All right. So, yeah, and we have Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee has been the CEO of KUORA. All right. As you can see from his profile here, he was the COO of and the director of CREG. All right, is listed in NASDAQ. All right, he has been having in the marketing fields, especially in the heavy industry, for more than 20 years. All right, and so yeah, he's a pretty brilliant executive with lots of innovation and with ideas. So when I spoke with him at his office recently, and I was really impressed with his vision. So he told me he had the idea to bring AI into KUORA platform, and as early as 2019. So that was about 4 years ago. So over the last 4 years, his team collected the data and from the platform, and they started to build a language model even before OpenAI announced and launched ChatGPT in 2021. All right. So he has a pretty good foresight about the what he wanted to do. All right, and with his experience of being a COO of a NASDAQ company, and we believed his involvement with the team will help us tremendously. All right. So next, David. David is a key advisor to Icnm. All right. Of course, he also has a help other companies, including CREG, during the about 10 years ago when they were listed in NASDAQ when they launched the IPO. All right. He has been in the corporate finance and also the audit fields for many years, and helped the other companies to successfully listed. Okay, so with him around, so we were able to help the company to move forward with our IPO plan. Okay, so we have Mr. Tan. Right, Mr. Tan is a friend and also a mentor to me personally. So he has been a veteran, an active member in the IT industry in Singapore. So he was also involved in cold change management when he was running the food distribution business before he retired. All right, so he was a member in the Singapore standard in the area of cold change management. Right, so from time to time, the government body engaged him, and so he was actually representing Singapore in some of the events in the region. All right. Okay. Right. So with the brief introduction about the team, so I want to run straight into the questions. Okay. So I have prepared 5 questions here, and then I think some of these questions are commonly asked. So I'm just trying to put them in the orders so that there will be a better understanding about what is the company doing, where are we going, and how are we moving forward. Okay. So first off, why did we acquire KUORA? All right. So there was a lot of questions being asked, and there was also a lot of speculations. Right. So to clarify, I think there are a few areas we have to look into it first. Now, if you trace back the history of about 2022 in June, that was when Eastwind took over Icnm. All right. So at that point, we promised to the existing shareholders that we are going to inject a business entity into the company. All right. So we do have a few component business that we actually identified, and one of course, the key connections with is the KUORA. All right, we understand it was a startup company at that time, and we met the founder and CEO of KUORA, Mr. Lee, and felt it is a perfect fit for both parties, and that's why we decided on the acquisition. All right, so and took us about 6 months, plus and minus, to be able to make sure that everything is done according to the order. All right. So now, the second area we look into is that not just only on their potential revenues and also the business that they are bringing in, but also because they are very similar to what we wanted to do. All right. KUORA is essentially an industry service platform. Okay, so and you guys, some of you probably know that we wanted to actually build an network ecosystem. We call it VITE platform, and this is basically to allow it's a network that allow different business supplier and customers to come on board. Okay, so we thought that KUORA platform is it just fit our ecosystem, so it can connect to our platform quite easily. So in order, at that time they already had about more than 100,000 users. So to get that users to onboard of a VIPE platform was very straightforward. Okay, so that was the second reason why we decided to acquire KUORA. All right. So essentially, Eastwind model is to grow the business through the platform network and using our key technology that we built. And really, it is much easier to grow the user base through the M&A. Okay, so I'll talk about M&A a little bit more later. Right. So, and okay, so let's take a deeper look at what is KUORA and what is their business model. Okay, so so if you start to look at the profile of KUORA, all right, KUORA was established in 2018, right? At that time, I was saying that Lee just uh, resigned from CREG, and then he was out there for holiday, and then he just during a long holiday he had that idea of creating a platform to help the industrial user to be able to solve their problems that they are facing day to day. All right, and so he actually moved the idea, and then he founded the company. And today, of course, we have more than 300,000 users, and then out of that, we have more than 3,000 technical specialists. Okay, I will explain a little bit why they are, what are the users using the system for, and then how the technical specialists are able to provide their services and match in on the platform itself. All right. Now, so if you look at the so far they have been able to build up 18 copyrights registration, and they own 4 trademarks, and all these are actually registered in China. Okay, so the company is well regarded as a very is a technology innovations company in especially in Xi'an. All right, so and for the platform is not just only for the B2B, but it is also able to expand to consumer to business and business to consumer, as well as consumer to consumer. Okay, all right. So the model is pretty scalable, if you call it. And so far there have been pretty strong support from the provincial government as well as the key industry user. All right, and China, as you're aware, that they have a large industrial population, and is I mean, in terms of the industrial output, is estimated to be about 30% of the world output, right? And the technical market is very, I mean, in terms of the overall size, it is actually reaching at 11.5 trillion US dollars, and is growing at 25% every year. All right. Okay, so these are the some of the background of KUORA. Okay, so what are they? How they actually even started? Okay, so where he comes from, he's was actually from providing the solutions to the industrial customers when he was in CREG. Typically, his customers are very much the like coal plants, and those who have the boiler cookers, and those who actually use the machines. So when he was in CREG, has identified there were actually a lot of issues that users are facing on daily basis. All right, whether it's the process issues, whether it's equipment issues, and all these are the problems that they are facing, and which, in fact, it is deemed as inefficient. All right, and it's also is causing a lot of I mean, it's expensive to maintain, because imagine that certain equipments are down for a extended period of time. The base scale production is it's not going to be able to run. All right. So, and some of these machines are pretty old, and there is no ready expertise available in the plant itself to be able to support. Okay, so these are the two major issues that some of these customers are facing. All right, and then to make it worse, some of these old equipments, the informations are not available. Okay, either they are not properly documented, or they are stored in a different format, and then so it's very difficult to gain access to. Right, so And then the resident engineers, sometimes they are, I mean, in fact, most of the times, if they want to keep a few engineers in the company, and these engineers can be, most of the time, they are pretty idle. In fact, they are not able to maximize the skill sets and the resources they are having. Okay, right. So, so this is actually inherent problems with the industry itself. So when, so what KUORA platform does is that, well, you can imagine that, okay, if you have a breakdown of air conditioner in your house, what will you do? All right. So for us, probably you will probably go to Google or Yahoo to look for some technicians nearby. But for heavy equipment like industrial cooker and the boiler, you can't do that. All right. You can't get immediate solutions from going to the search engine. You need engineers to be around 24/7, right? But some of these are old equipment, and even the resident engineers may not be familiar, and they will not be able to resolve the problems in a very short span of time. Right? So you need specialists to come in to help. Okay, so this is where KUORA platform comes in. The engineers can post the problems and issues on the platform. A system will match the specialist that has the expertise to solve the problems. All the transactions are done online, and the platform projects will protect all the parties' interests. So in case there's a dispute, the money, the transaction can be handled by the platform itself. All right. So if you can actually look at here is that the industrial user will pose the questions, and the questions will link up to the platform will link to the technical specialist. All right, and then they will offer to solve the problems with certain price. Okay, so if the user agree to pay for the price, the money will be transferred to the platform, and then the service will be rendered. And once it's done, the funds will be transferred to the specialist. And this is what the platform work. Okay, so it is very easy. It's very efficient. So you can have access to the specialists all over the cities across China. You know, China is a very big place. So sometimes the specialists may not be available within the town itself. Okay, so to the platform, you can reach out to that specialist from some other towns. All right. So, and then the problems can be solved almost, I mean, may not be instantly, but at least you know that there will be some helps coming, and then they can provide the services accordingly. Okay. So this basically to optimize the services to match and the requirements from the industrial users. All right. Now, for some enterprise customers, like the oil refinery factories, some of these big customers may want to have a system that is on-premise. So we do actually provide that system if they want to be on-prem. All right. So this is basically what the next things that we're going to do is that we will, instead of going directly to the specialist, we will put an AI into the on-prem system to allow users to communicate with the AI system from within their office. All right. So that is where we can improve the problem solving, okay, to bring the solution right at the doorstep. All right. Okay, so you can see this is what the KUORA platform has been doing. Okay, so in 2020, the annual income achieved more than 3 million. All right, and by 2022, it jumped to more than 9 millions. And of course, last year we did more than 17 million. So that growth is phenomenal, and we expect that growth to continue. All right. So, and you can see that by we have in 6 months we already achieved more than 9 millions. So to maintain at this rate, it is highly possible. Okay. Right. Okay. So we okay. Let's move on to next question. So what is the VITE platform? Okay. So VITE platform is defined as a digital network platform that links the service partners and customers. So you can essentially, if you look at what KUORA is providing, basically it is a VITE platform for industrial user. Okay. So, and of course that is developed before VITE is even conceived. So basically we are not reinventing the wheel at this point. At some point down the road, we may want to integrate all the system to use to share the technology together, but that will be in the time to come. Okay, so right, so you can think of VITE is okay. KUORA is very much for the industrial service. The VITE is basically it applies to any transaction platform. All right, so it could be a logistic platform, which is what we are working with VIAGOO. All right, or it can be a service platform. Currently, we're working with a service company called ServeTouch. They have office in Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. All right, and then the 3D printing company 3DPS. So this is also another of our partners who are basically our target to be able to use on the VITE platform. And then we have Links. Links Asia is basically a B2B e-commerce in Indonesia. All right. So all these partners are able to connect to the VITE platform, right, with their ecosystem, with their network, because all these are platforms companies. They have their own supplier, they have their own customers. So imagine they put everything into the VITE platform using the API. We basically will expand the VITE platform very fast, right? So that is what it means by a digital network connecting the business together. All right. So of course we are not completed yet. There are still a lot of work to be done, and this is what we are going to do in the coming months to be able to expand this into the market. Okay. So essentially, VITE ecosystem consists of from the front, this is a vertical side. So KUORA is one. They are providing harness on the VITE platform that is connecting using the API. All right. And we have the VIAGOO logistic platform is connecting to the API as well. Right. So essentially what we can, this platform can do, all right, is that we can connect various digital platforms to be able to make use of the technology they've built. All right. So the technology we are using, I think I mentioned that in my various posting. So we have Pixel AI, we have HelloDocs, we have that API integrations, and we have the data automations. Right. So these are the things that we are building to input into the running on the platform itself. All right. Okay. So essentially, we'll be able to provide that convenience for the service provider as well as the customers to come in and make use of that. Okay. One example I can perhaps will be easy to understand is that, all right, imagine if you are in Indonesia. All right. Recently, I just traveled to Jakarta and met up with a plantation owner for palm oil. Okay, so they have factories, they have equipment. All right, so if they need to import some of the spare parts and gains access of some of the technology in China. How would they do it? Okay, without platform of similar to VITE is not going to be straightforward. Okay, so the foundation owner will have to go to some Alibaba or some other e-commerce platform to look for the specific equipment that they need. Okay, but this information may not be available to them, and so it may be difficult, and cross-border trading can be very difficult as well. Okay, right. Okay, so I hope I have given you a bit of background about the KUORA as well as VITE. Now the next question, okay, M&A. Right. So what is our plan? Okay. So we are currently working with a few network partners to join Icnm as to combine together to go for the IPO. Right. So this is a major milestone for us, and we are doing it very carefully so that it will bring the best value for all the stakeholders. Okay, this process is slow, but we are making great progress, and hopefully we can share more in the next session. Unfortunately, at this point, we cannot review the timeline because there are things that it is not to be shared until and unless everything is confirmed. Now, we may put up an letter of intent. Yeah. So, but we will, again, as I say, in terms of timeline, we will only be able to share once everything is confirmed. Okay. Next question. What is our IPO plan? Okay. So IPO plan is always in our mind when we acquire Icnm back in June 2022. Right. So there are requirements to do that. So the requirements, as far as I understood, is that you need 2 years of audit to qualify. And we have our respective local audit, but this one I think is referring to PCAOB audit. Okay, and so we have engaged an auditor to work with us. So the work has already begun. And so the first audit, hopefully the report will be ready within a couple of months, and then so we can proceed to file the S1. Right, S1 is the documents required to file. And meanwhile, we are already engaging advisors to help us to plan for the structure, and this will probably be announced when it's ready. Okay. All right. Last questions. Is open-ended questions. So one of the questions, or I think a lot of questions are asking about timeline. So, but again, as I say, I can't commit a timeline for any of those. But I mean, based on the last M&A we had with KUORA, it took us about 6 months. I guess if you looking at the timeline, you can use that as a gauge, all right? But this is not something that I want to commit at this point, okay? As far as IPO is concerned, the timeline is something that we want to move step by step, okay? It will definitely happen, okay? As to when, at this point, again, as I say, I can't commit on timeline, all right? Now, other questions on the share price and so on. Again, this is something that's very sensitive. So I'm sure you agree with me. We will keep this, and so that everyone will be able to look forward to see the changes. So I do, based on what I've seen and based on the plans that I've, in terms of growth, in terms of revenue, in terms of profit, in terms of product development, I think we are pretty upbeat about the progress, and I'm sure things will get better, okay, and the share price will move up once everything is in place. Okay. Now, I'm sure some of you have a lot of questions you want to ask. So I put up a link here. Okay. It's actually on the website. You can go there and then post your question or give us a feedback. Okay. And then so that we will try to get ourselves ready. And I can promise I'll answer all the questions you have as much as I can, and review not affecting the much on other things, especially sensitive information. I will try to satisfy as much as possible. All right. With that, yeah, thank you, and I hope you enjoy the session. I'll see you in the next session.